want you to close your eyes. Really close them. Alright, now imagine that the ground beneath your feet is springy and soft. You can hear whistling and clapping and cheering of an overeager crowd. Now stretch your arm and block your eyes from the harsh light of the stadium lights. You're nervous. There's butterflies in your stomach. Now take your hand and feel the scratchy polyester of the uniform that weighs heavily on your shoulders. It's Friday night, around 8 o'clock. You and your friend are about to perform in front of the majority of the school with the rest of the band. Now open your eyes. This is the reality of every marching band student for the months of August through October. As I go on for the next few minutes, there are 3 takeaways I want you to get from this speech: the good, the bad, and the reward of high school marching band. First things first, the good. Now, if you've ever talked to a band student, you'd know that we're not that social outside of our group of friends, which isn't a bad thing, but band helps to expand that social circle. My first year marching, my freshman year, we were at our last competition of the year. Right before we were about to go on, it starts to rain. For those of you who don't know, rain and instruments do not mix very well because of the metal. So we had to take shelter in the gym. Due to the amount of bands that were there, we were not the only band in the gym at the time. So it was awkward at first, no one really talking to anyone outside of their group, but we began to intermingle, slowly but surely. And it started with the typical, "How are you? What school do you go to? What are you guys doing this year?" And it evolved from that to we started doing activities together, like Stella Ella Ola, just the childish things we all used to do in elementary school. From there, it evolved into us showing off the cheers unique to our band. Now, this wasn't a my school's better than yours type thing, but more of a promotion of friendly competition. This is a social experience that would not have happened outside of band. Next, we have exercise. So, it gives a chance for students like me who are physically inept in sports to have a chance to do something outside of your everyday gym class. Now, there's much debate about whether or not marching band is actually a sport. So, the definition of sport is an activity that requires physical exertion and an individual or a group competing against another or others. In marching band, there is a common phrase called a gush and go. What this entails is leaving your spot on the field, running to the front sideline, grabbing a drink of water, and running back in about a minute. So, yes, I would definitely say it's a sport. Next, we have the bad. Like any sport, marching band is time-consuming. Last year, our meetings were held on Mondays and Thursdays from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now, for those who know someone or have played sports themselves, they'd say that's not that bad, especially considering a lot of sports meet almost every day. But you also have to take into consideration the amount of homework assigned as high school students. As that continues to grow throughout the year, marching band really cuts into that time. You think you have 2 3-hour practices a week and then a 2+ hour game, which evolves into 10+ hours of lost time that could have been used for homework. Secondly, marching band's a lot of work. Again, every sport's work. But in the modern school system, we are required memorization. Memorize this for the test, memorize this formula, constant memorization. So to go to an extracurricular after you've been up and working for 7 hours to do more memorization is exhausting. Finally, we have the reward. Now, have you ever gotten so busy that your laundry just keeps piling and piling and piling? Then one day, you get it off. You get the day off. and you look at that laundry and you're like, today's the day I get you done. But when you start digging into it, it's overfilling, it's so overwhelming to look at. This is similar to marching band. You get your music and everything else you need at the beginning of the season. And it's overwhelming knowing you have to memorize your place and your steps and your music. But the year goes on and it gets easier. You get more used to it. Until finally one day, you're sitting down watching that final performance, and you watch it and you get to the end, and eureka, you feel so accomplished at the end. Like I said in the beginning, there are 3 takeaways I want you to get from this speech: the good, the bad, and the reward. However, there is one more takeaway I want you to have, and that is marching band isn't just a group of kids walking around a field with an instrument. It creates lifelong friendships, unbreakable bonds. It creates a family.